Hey guys, Phil here. Just a quick video I wanted to talk about. Things are plummeting. Everybody's freaking out that, Bitcoin has gone down a lot, 50% in the last month or so. Now Ethereum starts to go down. And, there's something I wanted to talk about with Ethereum, which is this proposed change between what it is now, which is proof of work, and, Ethereum is still kind of proof of concept. It's still kind of beta. So it's proof of work versus proof of stake. And these two concepts that are going to change, that I haven't seen anything really talking about it, so I thought I would do a quick little video about it. Right now, Ethereum is a proof of work token. And that is, you spend work, you spend electricity, and you mine. And when you mine and you discover one of these values, you can win the block and put it into the blockchain. What they want to transition to is a proof of stake, and that is that these transactions are no longer validated by mining, they're validated by randomization across stakeholders. And stakeholders are rewarded for validating the transactions. And, there's kind of 4 reasons that they're doing this. One of them, nicely, is the environment. The electricity that is now required to mine these coins, this is only Ethereum we're talking about, but to mine Ethereum is quite intense. And that's a huge drain on natural resources and the grid and everything. And the other thing is that if we can switch away from proof of work to proof of stake, we can get less inflation, because miners don't need to be rewarded in highly increasing amounts for this spending of electricity as it becomes more and more difficult. So more and more difficult, more and more mining, more and more electricity, more and more coins have to be rewarded to those miners. So if we switch to proof of stake, a lot of that goes away, the inflation. Less centralization, and so now things can scale. Right now you think that it's a decentralized currency, but it's centralized to these miners. And if we have a proof of stake situation where validation is done from within the stakeholders themselves, then we can get away. You don't need more hardware to get more mining done. Things are balanced out a little bit. And also, this idea of penalization. Right now, if somebody tries to hack and crack the system and they fail, the only thing they've really wasted is the electricity that they expended to try and crack the system and put in false blockchains and everything. With a proof of stake situation, you can actually mean that you can penalize people by taking away their stake. A stake can be forfeited. So the disadvantage to trying to crack the system is a lot higher. Right now, if you fail, you spend the electricity, it doesn't work, nothing else happens, and maybe you go off and you try again, or you try and crack another currency. There's no penalization. What we're looking at in the future is to say that if you try this, your stake can be forfeited, and so it's a much, much bigger risk. And the issue is, of course, that moving from proof of work to proof of stake is a completely different concept. The underlying coin changes as a hard fork in software terms. It's not backwards compatible at all. And so to force this change, they're putting something in place called the Ice Age, which is mining, proof of work, will become exponentially harder, forcing people, to move over to the proof of stake fork. And that's the Ice Age, that technology. And that will happen this year. So see big shakeups probably happening in Ethereum this year. Now, just like in the 1980s in Britain, there's a chance that the miners will strike. Obviously, if you're a miner, you don't like this idea that your asset farm is being made redundant. So it's possible, unlikely but possible, that miners themselves will fork off another branch of Ethereum and we'll end up with 3 branches. What is currently Ethereum will morph into a proof of stake Ethereum. We already have Ethereum Classic, and then possibly the miners will fork off another one and keep proof of work. We'll see whether that happens or not. You never know. Anyway, I wanted to make a little video because this idea of proof of work versus proof of stake, Ice Age, and Ethereum is in the air right now. And that's one of the things that perhaps is driving the downward turn. I don't necessarily know if it is, but it might be in the mix. That's all for me. We'll see you soon.